In this video, I'd like to talk about why I sold my Omega Speedmaster moon watch, and in this video you'll see some accompanying video as well. The main reason I sold it is because of the size. I realized that because I have thin wrists, it just was a little bit too big on my wrists, especially when you compare it to something like the Rolex Submariner. And also the trend these days has been to have not as large watches anymore. I mean, that was kind of popular 10 to 15 years ago, but I think the trend now is moving towards more regular normal size watches. And granted, the Speedmaster is not huge in size, it's just that for my thin wrists it looked a little bit big. I still really like the watch quite a lot, and all of the positives that I mentioned in my review of it, which I will post a link of, still apply. They all still apply. It's just that, you kind of have to balance everything. And I found that I wasn't wearing the Speedmaster nearly as much as I used to. Now, it was my daily watch for probably at least 10 years or so. I wore it almost all of my sort of late 20s to late 30s or so. And it served me really well. But, and just taking a look at it and comparing it with, for instance, the Submariner, it was just a little bit on the large side for me, so I decided to sell it. And I just think that the Submariner fits my wrist a lot better in terms of the size of it. The other thing is that Omega has seemed to lately, within this last 10 to 15 years, or maybe the last 5 years even, they have seemed to lose or have been losing their core competency of making, really good watches, and sort of moving towards, instead of, having their core competency being making really good watches, instead of doing that, they've moved to being a marketer of watches. So it seems like marketing is more their focus rather than the actual watches themselves. And maybe that's to be expected given that they're actually owned by Swatch, or the Swatch Group at least. But it's kind of frustrating to me, and sort of turned me off to the brand in the last 10 years or so. Case in point, they come out with a brand new Speedmaster model, which seems like seemingly like every 6 months. There's some new special edition model or something like that, and it's just getting too much. It's like, there's the dark side of the moon model, then there's the light side of the moon model, and then they have a new watch for almost every Apollo anniversary, at least every 5 years anyway. And then in between, they have all these other kind of models as well. So it's getting too much. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. So I've really been turned off to the Omega brand lately because of that reason. And, I much prefer to have a watch that is, they don't have to market as much, and they don't have so many different versions, and they just have they do what they do, and they do what they do best, and they have their sort of core competency. So anyway, that's another reason why I sold it. Again, I really do like the domed Hesselite crystal on the Speedmaster. I do really like the design ethic of it, and the fact that the face of it is almost like a speedometer and things like that. But at least for the modern day Speedmasters, I'm not really a fan anymore. My Speedmaster that I sold was probably about 15 years old. Now, the only Speedmaster I would consider rebuying now would be one of the vintage ones, like the 2915 model. And ideally, I would like to get one with a tropical dial, which means that it's like really faded and stuff like that. That's the only one that I pretty much seek at this point in time. So this has been a short summary on why I have sold my Omega Speedmaster moon watch. As always, for questions, comments, and community, see the discussion field. And thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe and also give it a thumbs up. See you in my next video.